And good afternoon, everyone. Hey. This is Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. Here I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health and your life. Avoid complications, go to the next level. We're creating the life we've always wanted, and we are living right now. We're living limitless lives, y'all. Hey, I am here in another 72-hour fast. In fact, I'm about to start my 72-hour fast for this week. Just want to say hello and thank you for coming through and hanging out with me as we get into this amazing week of metabolic improvement so that we can live long, healthy lives. Hey. I'm Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. Here I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health and your lives, avoid complications, go to the next level. We're creating the life we've always wanted, and we're living limitless lives. I am here to help you have the success in your health, just like you're having in other areas of your life. So you can show up for those things that are so important for you, so important in your life, your family, your friends, the connections, and for those dreams that you have been investing in. We want you to have long, healthy life. You don't need superhuman strength. What you need is a strategy you can trust, a plan you can follow, and the support and the determination to keep going and to keep showing up. And so, with that in mind, we are here walking through this path, being healthy and doing the things we need to do so that we can set ourselves up for the best possibility of success. And right now, we are heading into another fast. So, thank you for coming through. Whatever platform you're on, whether you're on Instagram or Twitch or LinkedIn or Facebook, and of course, here on YouTube, we are welcoming you and we're happy that you're here. Go ahead and put where you're joining us from into the comments because we want to say hello. We want to give you a quick shout out. And then a special shout out to our community members who are out there. We thank you for coming through and thank you for hanging out with us as we are improving our health. It's Diabetes Awareness Month, and with that comes a determination and a renewed commitment for us to do what we can to fight this dreadful and this seemingly unstoppable disease. And I want to let you know that it is not unstoppable. We have the tools, we have the know how. We just need to follow a strategic plan so that we can be successful. There are over 1 billion people on the planet right now with diabetes or prediabetes. In the United States, over 38 million people with diabetes right now as we're talking. And it seems as though it's a devastating disease. And we have the tools, we have the ability to say, no, we are not going to continue those numbers getting bigger and bigger and bigger. We can make a choice and we can make a decision to stop that. Okay. So as we're walking through this space right now, and as we go through this month, I want you to remember that we have choices. We have unlimited potential. We're living limitless lives. And when we follow that path, when we follow that plan, then we have the ability to improve. Okay. All right. So we're going to go ahead. I'm going to show you what I am eating here as we are as we're getting into this week. Right. We're in another fast. If you are fasting with me right now, I want you to put me. And it doesn't have to be you're starting now. Maybe you're starting tomorrow. Maybe you're starting the next day. Or for some of our community members, I know some of you actually started yesterday. And if you were in a different part of the world, your yesterday has already started. And so you may have been fasting before we're starting. So if you're fasting, go ahead and put me in the comments. Just drop that in. Okay. So let's go ahead and let's look at what I'm going to eat and we'll continue our discussion. As you know, I usually start my fast after my meeting here at work with my team. And so that's what we did today. And usually I get whatever they bring in and then I create for us here on this pop-up, we create what we're going to eat. So let's go ahead and let's do that right now. This week, of course, we're talking about energy, right? That's what we did on our main show. If you've not seen that yet, go back and watch that from last night. We're talking about energy. How do we create energy? How do we what are the steps that we need to go through to make sure we have enough energy to do the things we want? Because often I hear people say to me, well, I would exercise, I would eat right, I would cook, I would, but I just don't have the energy to do it. And so this week we're talking about why that is and what we can do about it. Okay. So with that said, let me go ahead and I'm going to pull up a couple of things. Here is what I got from. Let's see. Let's do this. Here's what I got from lunch today. Okay, so this is basically a bowl, and it has lettuce. It's got some meat in there. There's some rice below it, and I think there's some beans in there. Okay, so we got that, and then I went downstairs to the cafeteria, as I normally do, and I got this stuff, right? So we've got cucumbers, we've got tomatoes, there's some lettuce in there. I think I see some baby spinach. Of course, there's cheese, and then the ranch dressing, right? I got that. And I also got, and this is a hamburger patty with pepper jack cheese and cheddar cheese. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna construct our meal. And let me grab, this is the top, by the way, from our container. So let's go ahead and do that. And let me make this one big so we can see what we're doing. There we go. Okay, so here's my container. And I'm going to actually drop some of this lettuce in there. All right, so get the lettuce. And as I'm doing that, I'm exposing the chicken, and I think that's chicken under there. We're not going to, of course, take the rice that's there, because if you watched this last week, you watched our show last week, you saw I gave an example of what rice did to my blood sugar, and so I know that. So I'm very selective, by the way. So let me say this: it's not that you cannot eat rice. It's not that you can't eat rice, but I choose to be selective at when I eat the rice. Now, that's one of the important things about um, creating a meal plan that we can follow. You have got to know yourself. You've got to know your body and how your body responds. And there are times where you're selective. It's not like people say, "Oh, you're starving yourself," or um, you're not allowing yourself to enjoy. I do, except I am selective as to when I put those things on my plate. Okay, so I've got some lettuce there. Then I'm going to go over here to this is the one that I got from downstairs. Um, and I want to get the cucumbers out of here. So let's go ahead and grab those. I'm going to get the tomatoes. And once again, we are constructing this on the fly. Okay, so this is not, oh, this is what I'm going to eat. This is me going downstairs, grabbing. So I have my default meal. I have my default idea of what my meal is going to look like and what I want in it. And so that's what you see me doing. So there's some basic things that came as part of both of these meals, and I am now putting them together in a way that fits what I want. Okay, there's some banana peppers, so I'm gonna get those because those are always good. I like them. Banana peppers. Let's see. It's hard to get to, but there's some sunflower seeds in here. And I'm going to try to get some of that out. And of course, I'm going to grab some of these blocks of cheese, these cubes. Because I like cheese. Yeah. All right. So that is probably good enough for me for right now. Because what I don't want to do is I don't want to take all of this, because one of the things that we'll talk about here in a minute is the amount of food that we eat. Okay, so there we are. So that's the base of what we have. And then I'm going to go back to this one and I'm going to grab the chicken. Grab the chicken off of there. And of course, as I'm doing that, a couple of grains of rice are falling in, but that's okay. So chicken. I'm not going to do the onions. Okay, and I'm going to try to grab some of the beans. It's not a lot of them, but Okay. So there we are. And I really want to get as much of the protein on here as possible, because that's going to help me as I get into this fast. Okay. And so, yeah, that's some rice there. So that's okay. All right. So here's so we started out with this. And so we basically taken um, most of the meat. We've got the lettuce off of there. The onions are left. We got some of the beans. We're going to put that off to the side. And then let's just go ahead and finish this up. And then I'm going to put that on top. Yep, so I am. Get that off to this side. Okay. And so this is what we have. And so let's walk through our concept of food now. All right. So whenever we're talking about eating, there's this idea that I want you to kind of pay attention, not kind of, but I want you to pay attention. This is how we think about food. And the food that we're eating, we want you to think about balanced bites. Balanced bites. So what does balanced bites means? Balanced bite is not a menu, it's not a meal plan, it's not a diet, but it's the way that we think about our foods. Let me go ahead and put that slide up right now. So balanced bite says that whenever we're eating, we're going to think about our food in this way. So number one, whole foods first, right? So whole foods first. Number two, we're going to minimize processed foods. Number three, no added sugar. Number four, lean protein and healthy fats. Number five, starchy and non-starchy vegetables, leaning more towards the non-starchy. Tasty and flavorful food, and we want portion control. So that's when we think about balanced bites, when we think about how we're eating, think about the food that we're going to be putting together. That's what we want to do. So let's go ahead now and let's walk through what we just created with this in mind. Okay. And so whole foods, number one. And so if you look through here, things that are not whole foods, we've got some salad dressing. We've got, of course, the cheese that's there. The hamburger patty, it was processed. So by virtue of that, it's not whole foods. That's pretty much it, right? So that's here. But everything else is whole foods. Minimized processing goes with that same idea. So the cheese, the salad dressing, the hamburger patty, those were processed. Number three, no added sugar. And the salad dressing has added sugar, I'm sure, but nothing else here would have added sugar in it. So we said lean protein, healthy fats. I've got my chicken. Of course, I have the hamburger patty, right? Because I want to get a little bit more protein in. And then the cheese and the salad dressing really are the fats that are on this plate right now. Starchy and non-starchy vegetables. So there's not any starchy vegetables on this plate. Everything is non-starchy. We've got cucumbers, we've got some lettuce, we've got some baby spinach. We have banana peppers, and of course we've got those cherry tomatoes that are there. Tasty and flavorful. I haven't tasted it yet, but just looking at it, I anticipate it's going to be tasty. Cheese, I love. Hamburger patties, I love. Who doesn't love that? Who doesn't like that? Cheese, like I said, I like. And of course, my salad dressing, my favorite is not my absolute favorite, but one of my favorites is ranch. And then portion control. And you saw as I put this together, I was very deliberate so that as I am putting it together, I didn't take everything from all the other containers that we were looking at. So this is our meal right now, following, and let me pop that back up really quickly, following our concept of balanced bites. Okay, so balanced bites, whole foods, minimized processing, no added sugar, lean protein, healthy fats, starchy, non-starchy vegetables, leaning more towards the non-starchy. Then we've got tasty and flavorful, and then portion controlled. Awesome. All right, so let's go ahead and we get this down. And let me go ahead. I'm going to start eating, y'all. Put this up like this. All right, so let's dig in. And so I start usually with a salad whenever I'm eating. Mm, mm. Yeah, good. I start with a salad because the salad gives me bulk. Mm, that's good. And the signal to my brain from my stomach takes about 20 minutes. So if I'm eating a salad, I get the bulk, I get the stretch, signal goes to my brain, I don't eat as much. If I don't do that, end up eating a lot more, right? And eating a lot more than I normally would. So that's number one. Number two, the fiber from the salad will blunt the absorption of any fat, of any carbs that are here. Will blunt the absorption. Of course, the protein that's in there and the fat will help keep me full longer. So if you find that when you start to fast, those first couple of hours are a bit challenging, look at what you're eating as your last meal. Are you eating things that are consistent and will help you maintain the feeling of fullness? Or are you eating things that are going to stimulate your appetite and won't help with keeping you full? All right. So these foods that you see me eating that we've just put together, this type of food is important for energy. If we included a lot of processed foods, a lot of high starchy foods, then we get spikes in our energy because we get spikes in our blood sugar. Spikes in the blood sugar leads to spikes in our insulin. Spikes in our insulin leads to stimulation of appetite. It leads to our bodies taking that food and shunting it away. So our blood sugars drop, right? So it's not a stable blood sugar level. And so we have these rocky peaks and valleys. And so we feel that as energy dips and spikes. Okay. So if you're seeing that your energy levels seem to fluctuate drastically, and a lot of people say, oh, I am going through the day and like I hit a wall, then one of the things to look at is what are we fueling our body with? What are we fueling our body with? So it's more than just is my blood sugar controlled? So sometimes we think about our food as it relates to, oh, I don't want to put on weight, so I'm trying to lose weight. Oh, they told me that I need to cut back on my salt because my blood sugar is high or my cholesterol is elevated. Or, hey, I'm working on a whatever kind of diet you're on, but we don't think about the energy impact of our food often. That's one that's kind of lost in the shuffle. Man, there's this concept that a lot of people talk about, food as medicine. And if we don't pay attention, it is a big place where we miss out to optimize our lives. Not just medicine for fixing the body, but what are we fueling the body with? And so this week we've been talking about what do we do? How do we design build? How do we get energy? One of the places for that is when it comes to our food, comes to our meal. Yep. And that is very good, y'all. Mm. The other reason I like salad is that, I mean, there's so many different flavors and different textures, and where you can combine so many different things in salads. Come on back on Friday and you'll see what I eat as I break the fast. The very first thing I eat after 72 hours. All right. So if you are fasting with me once again, go ahead and drop that in the comments. Say me, me, me. And when I say fasting, anytime this week, it doesn't just have to be today. But for those of you who are fasting with us today, who are starting, kudos to you. Let me get this last mouthful in here. So kudos to you. That's what we have so far. Get that off the screen. All right. Here we go. So kudos to you for taking charge of your health, taking charge of your life, and making this decision that you are doing something different. If you've never fasted before, we're glad that you are making the choice to do that right now. If you have been thinking about fasting, this is a great place to be, because we do this as a community together. All right, we educate, we empower, and we encourage. That's our triple E formula for success. And the big part of that is that third one, encourage. So the community that you're part of, the stories that you tell, the successes you're having, even the challenges that you may be having in your fasting experience and in your metabolic journey so far. We want to know, we want to hear, we want to be there to support you as we walk through this path together. So that's it, y'all. So we've started our fast. Come on back tomorrow. We'll do our pop-up at 24 hours, and then our check-in at 33 hours tomorrow night at 9 p.m. as we move through the rest of the week. I'm so excited right now to see you and to hear the successes and the benefits that you're seeing as you walk through this health action plan. Hey, this is Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health and your life. Avoid complications, go to the next level. We're creating the life we've always wanted, and we are living limitless lives. And remember our goal. Remember, my goal is to help you to have the success in your health like you're having in all the other areas of your life, so you can show up for those things that are so important to you, the connections to family, friends, your community, and for you to enjoy those dreams that you've had for such a long time. You don't need superhuman strength. What you need is a strategy you can trust. You need a plan you can follow. And what you need is the support and the determination to keep showing up and to keep going. All right, have a great one. We'll see you next time at our pop-up. Hey, keep eating, keep eating. As we move through this space, we are fasting right now. Finish up your meal and let us know. Drop a comment. Let us know what you ate as your last meal before the fast. Bye-bye.